Welcome to another BackChat Bite. Today I'm speaking with Carly, who we have previously spoken with. She's got two big hats. She's a teacher, but also a mum. Carly, welcome again today. In your role as mum, we're having a chat about your beautiful little guy. What did you want to share with our audience today? Your journey, your struggles, how your experience as a teacher really helped you navigate a really difficult early journey?
Well, I was a teacher before I was a parent, and this gave me a tremendous leg up in recognising what was happening in my son's world at an early age and knowing how to navigate the challenges that he was experiencing. And in turn, my lived experience as a parent has made me an even better teacher, being able to empathise with families, be able to walk beside them through their journey and help them to tap into the supports that they so desperately need. For us, our journey started when Tom was probably around 3 years old. And like I said, I quite early on identified some communication sort of difficulties and some regulation difficulties as well. And so I tapped into a chronic healthcare plan with my GP.
That's the EPC plan, Carly?
Yes, that's the one, yes.
Enhanced Primary Care Plan for anyone out there wondering what that is today.
And that only sort of gives you that discounted sort of 6 sessions with up to 2 allied health professionals. So we went and saw a speechy, one that you quite so fortuitously quite closely worked with. Those 6 sessions were a good starting point for us, but we just needed so much more in those sessions. And we hit a rock bottom when he was in kindy. That was probably the worst year of our life in our marriage, in our family. Thomas, I was getting calls every day, having to complete incident reports and things because he'd become so dysregulated. He might have acted out towards another child.
Absolutely. We've all been there. It's a horrible time. Yeah.
And it's humiliating and embarrassing and all those sorts of feelings as a parent to be, dragged over the coals every day. And I ended up developing some trauma and having my phone ringing because I just, I'd be at work and I'd just be waiting for the phone call. And I was trying to make it in in one of my early on leadership positions. So I wanted to make a good impression with my employer. But anyway, it got to a point where Thomas's well-being was significantly impacted, and we then started on a mental health care plan with the GP. A little boy of 4 years old, it's hard to even imagine, initiating that process, but it opened up the doors for a little bit of inclusion support in the kindy, but kindies are just not equipped with inclusion support like schools are. And it came, the hoops that we had to jump through to access that. He was at the end of his kindy year when the paperwork all sort of went through.
And that's when it comes through.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's too late.
We were lucky to sort of access NDIS in prep. That was in 2020 though. So that was a tricky start to school for Tom, having to access school online. I ended up having to employ a babysitter for a couple of hours a day so that I could work, my husband could work, and so that Thomas could access his online learning. So that was a really, really tricky time for us too. But I guess the light at the end of the tunnel sort of came when one day I must have been scrolling through Facebook and I had been told from his speechy about this amazing clinic, BackChat Clinic, and I saw that there was a masterclass, a parent masterclass. So I went along, and that's when I first met you, Olwen, and you helped me to navigate the paediatrician pathway of going and seeing a paediatrician, and we eventually started accessing conservative amounts of medication, and Tom went from, being at least a year. So when he was at the beginning of year 1, he was still only recognising letters of the alphabet. You remember when you met him, it was still letter recognition.
And we were retaining them. We were struggling to retain them.
Yeah, no retention.
And transfer them.
Yeah.
Really
and
struggling.
Within that first year of having weekly intervention with yourself, some conservative medication, Thomas, he made 2 years progression in his literacy skills.
His language skills.
And his language
everything
skills.
just blossomed.
Absolutely.
He's a different
he
child.
just took off. Absolutely. And the frequency and the intensity and the duration of his meltdowns came significantly down. We were able to attend public events like birthday parties, things like that, without the fear of having to bail because Tom's going to, he's going to crack it any minute. And that walking on eggshells feeling that you have in the pit of your stomach as a parent with a dysregulated child, that all just started to soften, and he just blossomed, and he became confident. He became this confident child. He is now 3 years on, reading chapter books. He's literate. Like, I could never have dreamed that 5-year-old boy would ever be able to achieve literacy.
And it's a journey, isn't it? For every mum out there and with a little boy who's struggling.
Work, yes. But without, having the accountability of working closely with professionals like yourself, without, a BackChat Mums Village. And my husband, Michael, he's really enjoyed being connected to other dads.
Yeah.
And just sharing that journey with families who are in it with you. Thomas has made some fantastic
beautiful
friendships through the BackChat Village as well. And he now has the confidence and stability within himself, regulation and all that, and focus to be able to play competitive district level rugby.
Which he's doing amazingly at cricket and rugby. My goodness, he's doing so well.
He's excelling.
And as I said to a mum this morning when I was talking about the social groups and the village we have, it's not as simple as that. It's once children enter the village and the whole families are enveloped, they start to develop skills that then transcend into the school setting where they haven't been able to develop them before.
Absolutely.
Which is huge, I think.
For Thomas to be able to transfer the discourse of navigating school life to being able to go to parties, to be able to play in competitive sport and to be at home as well. I could never have imagined we'd come this far. And I wish that other families could know and feel a sense of hope that we have had and our experience in getting help as soon as possible. And I wish that more families felt comfortable in sharing their journey with others, because it normalising having a child with different abilities, normalising that in conversations just opens up so many opportunities that you'd never dream of for your child and for your family as a whole.
Absolutely, Carly. Thank you. You've said it so well. Thank you for coming on today and sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Olwen. If you know somebody who needs to hear this episode today, please share it with them. Until next time,